Missouri football heads to a New Year's Six bowl game. The tickets are red hot. Plus, Columbia Water and Light Department have the results from the lead and copper testing. And a push for peace. Local faiths come together asking for a ceasefire in Gaza. This is KOMU 8 News at 6.
Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
The Missouri Tigers are heading to Dallas. Now, if you haven't already heard, the Tigers will play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl Classic. Good evening, everyone. I'm Evie Allen. Thanks so much for joining us. KOMU 8 Sports Director Ben Arnett joins us now with news of the hottest ticket in town, Ben.
It certainly is, maybe in the entire state. Mizzou Athletic Director Desiree Reed-Francois announced today that Mizzou already sold out of its Cotton Bowl allotment of tickets in less than 18 hours. Now, I'm told that 4,000 tickets were sold to Tiger fans before the Cotton Bowl matchup was even announced. Mizzou is now urging fans who still want to go to the game to search for tickets on verified resale sites like SeatGeek and StubHub. And Mizzou will be on the visitors' sideline, the north sideline of the stadium in Dallas if you're looking for seats on Mizzou's side. Now, coming up later in sports, why has Ohio State moved from a 7-point favorite to a 2.5-point favorite in less than a day? And Mizzou is well represented on the AP All-SEC teams. That's later in sports.
I thank you, Ben. Well, KOMU 8's Ellie Laliberte spent the day talking to some very happy ticket holders. She's live at Faurot Field now. So, Ellie, what can you tell us about the fans' reaction?
Yeah, Evie, everyone I talked to today was excited and ready to show their support for the Tigers. Now, some are planning to head down to Dallas, but others are planning for a watch party.
After an exciting season, the Missouri Tigers are heading to the Cotton Bowl for the first time in a decade.
It's good to see that we're getting good again. So I'm super excited about that.
Tigers are doing good this year, to say the least.
And in less than 24 hours, fans bought up every ticket available through the university.
That's fantastic that we sold out of our ticket allotment in less than 24 hours after we announced. I mean, that just shows you how excited Tiger fans are to go play Ohio State in Dallas.
And fans are ready.
Well, it was really exciting when I found out we were playing Ohio State. I mean, my dad went there, and they're obviously a really good team. And, this is the best season we've had in a long time.
Some are traveling.
I had planned on going if the game was going to be in either Atlanta or Dallas. And once it was announced that it was in Dallas, I already had a ticket claimed.
Others are celebrating at home.
Probably won't make it down there, but I'll be doing a watch party with some of my friends in KC.
I'm going to have to watch it with my friends here.
For those traveling to the game, events are already being planned.
Yeah, when we go to a bowl game, the Alumni Association is really all kind of about the fan events and activities that go on. So everything from maybe a bowl tour, which we have, to all the events like tailgates and maybe pep rallies that happen at the bowl site.
But fans have one thing in common. They're ready to cheer on their team anywhere they can.
If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, like Ben said, you don't have to worry. You can still look on other platforms like Ticketmaster or StubHub to see if they have theirs. And live in Columbia, Ellie Laliberte, KOMU 8 News.
Temperatures across the region certainly visible where we had sunshine today and where we didn't. 44 Kansas City, 45 in Camdenton, 44 at the Lake of the Ozarks. Meanwhile, 38 in Columbia, 36 in Moberly, and 35 in Paris. Our reflectivity of the satellite over the last several hours just shows the cloud cover that's been sitting on top of us. We saw some moisture last night. Thankfully, other than a flake or two mixing in, it didn't result in anything other than that. That was the most likely scenario that we were talking about last night, but we had to prepare for the potential that it came with a little more. Tonight, also looking drizzly. These showers push off to the east. Tomorrow morning, we start the day with sunshine in the middle 30s. We'll get to the lower 40s tomorrow afternoon with the cloud cover building back in. When we'll see more sunshine, we'll talk about it, plus our next storm system coming up.
Thank you, Matt. Well, at the Columbia City Council meeting tonight, Columbia Assistant Police Chief Jill Schluty will officially be sworn in as the new chief. Schluty was selected on November 15th after a nationwide search. She says her husband, Sergeant Roger Schluty, will retire from the Columbia Police Department. Rachel Proffitt will also be sworn in as interim councilperson tonight at that meeting. She'll represent Columbia's Ward 2. Proffitt will serve until April of next year. Now, she says she does not plan to run for re-election. Columbia Water and Light Department released the results from the final round of required lead and copper sampling for 2023. The results show the city remains in compliance with the lead and copper action levels. The testing was required after the city faced violations for not properly testing drinking water. The city had 100 samples tested this round, none of which exceeded the action level for lead. One local group is pleading for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza last week. More than 300 hostages were released during a temporary ceasefire. KOMU 8's Leah Rainwater joins us in studio now to tell us what the community is doing to advocate for humanitarian approaches in the Middle East. Leah.
Well, Evie, the Mid-Missouri Fellowship of Reconciliation is a nonprofit that advocates for justice and nonviolence. They held a conference where speakers from multiple faiths discussed why an immediate Gaza ceasefire is necessary. The speakers all had different messages, but the same goal.
May all in Israel and Gaza be well.
A moment of silence for those suffering in the Middle East.
You know, we may feel like we're a far away place here in Missouri, and that's a far away place in the Middle East, but they're real people, and they're our brothers and sisters, and all you got to do is meet one to all of a sudden make that whole situation over there become real and personal.
Panelists of multiple faiths were able to voice their opinions, but one message remained the same throughout.
We want a ceasefire and we don't want a genocide and we want civilians to be safe. That is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with that.
The group is advocating for a ceasefire to allow humanitarian aid to get to the people of Gaza.
It's hard to avoid all the lives that are being lost, Israeli and Palestinian, and all lives matter. All lives have worth and value, regardless of faith, as we've expressed here today.
Rashid says this shouldn't be a situation where people choose sides, but rather focus on the lives lost.
People tend to focus on one group of people and think that that's the group of people. And so this is important to show that here we are all of different faiths stating the same thing.
Regardless of how the war in Gaza affects community members personally, Rashid says it's important to understand what people in Gaza are going through.
First and foremost, as a Muslim, it's affected me because seeing my brothers and sisters of faith there and what they're going through. Also just on a basic human level, just seeing what other humans, regardless of faith, of background, are going through, because I just want to see everybody be able to live their lives just like we're privileged enough to do here.
The panelists at the meeting today say the best way to have your voice heard is to reach out to your local state representative. In the studio, Leah Rainwater, KOMU 8 News.
All right, thank you, Leah. One of the former fraternity members charged with felony hazing had a pretrial hearing today. Benjamin Carl was allegedly involved in the hazing incident that left Danny Santulli unable to see, walk, or talk. Carl was not present in court today, but his attorney appeared on Zoom and requested a continuance. The judge agreed and set the next review hearing for April of next year. After the break, why marijuana dispensary workers across the state are pushing to unionize. Plus, how one local nonprofit is making the holidays brighter for the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Average low temperature for this time of the year right around 30 degrees, and we're up and down all over the place over the next 5. We'll take you through it, plus talk about another cool down towards the end of next week coming up.